And you know, that's a little bit of
He's going down!
Stay under here.
Happened to our country, probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Tucker Carlson predicted this would happen to Trump 6 months ago.
They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work. What's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have it.
There's video, Wolf, that shows the rooftop of that building. That's where the suspected shooter is believed to have fired the multiple shots. What we see there in that video is the moments after the counter snipers from the Secret Service take out the alleged.
I was in the first row. I was directly in front of Trump, my seat. I was looking him in the eye. We heard the pops, maybe 3 minutes into the rally, 3 to 4 minutes. I heard 4 pops, pop, pop, pop. The 4 Secret Service immediately jumped on the stage, and we saw him push President Trump to the ground. Then the gentlemen that have the guns came up to start clear right, clear left. They said, get him up. So they lifted him up, and Trump said, I got to get my shoes on first.
Did his shoes come off?
His shoes must have. We couldn't see it underneath that, but his shoes must have come off when they dropped him down to the ground. First thing he said, we could all hear it. I have to get my shoes on first. And when he stood up, I'm looking at him forward, I see the red teardrop right here of blood, fresh red blood, just a little tear. Then when they got him up and they turned him, I could see the blood from the top of the ear to the bottom. Wasn't gushing, but it was covered. And then he put the fist bump up, stay strong, and they walked him off.
So the result the Democrats may have hoped for is not happening. Instead, Trump's getting more support, more money, and he seems to be enjoying it. And he even said the other day he's all right with the prison sentence because he knows it'll just push him up higher. So what are they going to do then? I don't think they can actually put him in prison because there's just too much public support for him. I don't think they could get away with it. But so what are they going to do? What's the next step? And I think it's what happened to the Iranian, to the Slovakian, what's bound to happen to the Hungarian, what happened to John F. Kennedy, to Robert F. Kennedy, to Martin Luther King. They'll assassinate him. It'll be some lone nut, not always a lone nut, or something, or there'll be a traffic accident, or something will happen. I've always thought they were hoping that just the stress of all of these events, it's now 8 years. He's had 8 years of the worst stress you can imagine, other than being a Palestinian waiting on the bomb to fall on your head. Who's had the stress that this old man has had? He's in his upper 70s. Enormous stress. He's got 4 criminal indictments at the same time and at least 4 civil indictments. I mean, just imagine, and he's trying to conduct a campaign, and just imagine this, just imagine. So I think they're hoping he would have a heart attack or stroke, and that this may be the reason for all of this, that they're not really intending to try to put him in jail because it seems so improbable. And the conviction didn't produce the desired results. One of the other trials, the one in Florida, I think it's about the documents. Yeah. That one seems to be coming apart. And the judge has postponed it, and I think is on the verge of halting it. The information came out that the Justice Department had approved the FBI's use of deadly force in their raid on Trump's home. The FBI has admitted that they staged the appearance of classified documents by taking a bunch of papers marked classified documents in and putting it on the records, taking photographs and giving them to the media. So the whole thing is so orchestrated. You don't understand how it can go on. So I don't know. I think that the probability is that they'll murder him.
We have some breaking news. It's just been confirmed that the shooter at Trump's rally in Pennsylvania was a registered Republican. So, of course, just moments ago, the FBI confirmed the shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Mathew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. However, a number of news agencies, including MSNBC, have confirmed that he's a registered Republican. Voter rolls are public, so people looked up his name, Thomas Mathew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. The status is active, his date of birth, and the party is Republican. And it also seems like this individual's political views shifted over time because they made one singular donation to a more liberal PAC on January 20th, 2021, but then later registered as a Republican and voted in the 2022 midterms. So yeah, the shooter was a Republican. There were a lot of Trump supporters claiming today that the shooter was a crazy liberal or a crazy Democrat or something like that. But that's just not true. That's why it's always great to wait for official confirmation on these things from news agencies or federal investigators and things like that.
Thomas Crooks